Good morning, everyone. Let's put some music up here. There we go. We'll be very lo-fi today. Well, here I am. All right. I'm doing basic cleanup work here. And seeing what we've got going on. Good morning, Patsy. How are you doing this morning? I'm cleaning stuff up. Hang on. How are you doing this morning? And Brent's here too. You have a migraine. You were camping? That sounds so awesome. Today, I'll be sending the comics out today, by the way. So you'll be getting them today. I'm sorry it took so long. It's been like this, one thing after another until today. I get one day off and then I work tomorrow. And the problem is that, of course, I'm working through all the hours the post office is open. And I have to physically go to the post office. Sweet. I think I need any of these. Anyway. You're welcome. Brent, am I sending anything to you? While I'm sending things, while I'm going to the post office? Am I sending, do you need anything? Oh, and before you go anywhere, Patsy, you've requested 2 books. There are 3. Did I already send you one? I don't have any cells to epoxy yet, but I can make one. I've got to make more kitten buses anyway. They seem to be ridiculously popular. And by ridiculously popular, I mean I sell one, which is more than I'm selling of any other cell. So, but the fact that there has been a I didn't send you one. So which books do you want of the 3? There are 3. Hang on, I can show you which 3 we have. Once I get to this point, because I'm having problems this morning because I just woke up. However, I just woke up. You know what that means? I slept from the time I got off stream last night. I got off stream, I brushed my teeth, I went to bed, and was pretty much asleep within about 5 minutes. And then I just woke up. So that's the amount of sleep I got last night, which is a lot of sleep. I feel so much better now. I feel so much better. So there's the prologue, which is this guy. I can send you all 3 if you're interested in all 3, because that's this guy right here. Why is it smaller than the outside page? Right, that's this one. That's the Umake. Name Smirnova. Smirnova, I love your name. Smirnova is so awesome. That is like the best. That's cool. I can send you the World Book in issue 1, and that'll be fine. And do you want me to sign both of them? And then then we've also got, really need to make here is what we've got so far. In fact, that's maybe what we'll do right now, because we've made issue 3's main page. So it's ready to go. No, it's 30 should cover it just fine. I usually say $30 or $10 per issue because that covers shipping. 3. That's not a problem. I can do that. You don't need to send more money. It's fine. Why did it do that? What are you doing, you weird? You're weird. All right. I really, it irritates me that the differences between you know what I mean? You can come join my stream if you want, because we don't have, I mean, we've got people here, but they're all on different platforms because I use a restreamer. And so if you're coming in on my Twitch stream, Patsy is actually over on Facebook. So, but I have a restreamer which streams to all of my streams and then gathers all the comments fields and aggregates them. And so that's why I put the stream live here, because not everybody can read everybody else's commentary, but you can read Patsy's commentary on my restreamer. We also probably should put them in chronological order so that we know what we're talking about. So do world building documents here. Nope, that's the wrong world building document. There's two of them. There's the older one and then the newer print run. The newer print run's more conforming to the way that not in there. Side stories. Is there another folder in here? Oh, corrected tech manual. That's it. So if you're wondering why I think I need to do this, that's why. Because I don't know where any of these things are. They're all over the place. There we go. So we'll take the tech manual, move it over, the world building document. So I actually had one person who just really wanted to buy the world building document just for the star maps. And I thought, whenever that happened, I thought, I've got to tell Brent this. I made a sale solely on my star maps. Because once he found out that, oh, okay. Thank you very much, Smirnova. Have a good sleep. But you heard me saying your name, right, Brent? You heard me using your name in vain, right? Oh, man, that's funny. What I was saying was, this is still weird. I see what he was saying. When Bob took this to the printer, when Bob ran this one on the printer, he said it was shaped funny, which is what started this whole, I need to standardize everything and make it all standard and stop making different versions because it's all different. Oh yeah, that's fine. You can't print them. That's part of their charm is that they have to be hand painted. Anyway, what I was saying was at Iacon, I had a table, and at that table, one person bought the world building document solely because they wanted the star maps. I mean, they thought the series sounded cool. They thought it was interesting. But the fact that I had accurate star maps was fascinating to them. And that was the reason why. Yeah. Yeah, I have them printed at Kinko's or whatever. So, Patsy, what Brent is talking about is he's learning how to pour epoxy. And so he wants to take one of my cells and pour epoxy so that it's encased in the epoxy. I think that's so cool. It's really cool. It's gonna look so neat. No, that's a backup. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to do this the other way so I wouldn't have to figure out where that. Epoxy is a clear resin. So it's like it when it hardens, it looks like hard plastic. But you can pour it in room temperature. Did I miss your other comment? What was your other comment? Yes, I missed your other comment. Um, it probably got in the middle here. Oh, can. Oh, well, that's cool. That actually is cool. And you're right, I did miss it. I was too busy saying goodnight to Smirnova, whose name is cool. And they're cool too, but the name was also cool. That was important. There we go. That's all three. On newsstands now. So yeah, so Brent's gonna try to pour epoxy onto my cells so that I can make the distance between cells obvious and make it so you can do the parallax thing. Because right now, when I paint my cells, they sit on top of one another, which is great, but people can't really appreciate the fact that you can move back and forth and see between things. You know, they can't really truly appreciate that, which I think is awesome. I think one of the things I'm going to do though is I am going to redo um, this one's cover at some point, not now, but before I run another run of these, so that it's more in line with at least this part here being more in line with each other. That'll work. Really, what I should do is send you like the Pikachu one. Because everybody likes to look at the Pikachu one, but nobody seems to want to buy the Pikachu versus Stitch. And I feel like the Pikachu versus Stitch has 3 layers, like the background layer, the Stitch layer, and then the Pikachu layer. And putting the resin between those would give you a very solid, you know, that'd be very obvious about what was happening. The problem is the Pikachu versus Stitch has a background, which means you wouldn't see light through it. So on the other side of that might be the girl with the umbrella. Oh, and I'm really into whatever blue you picked for your checkerboard. That was really a cool shade of blue. I just want you to know I approve of that shade of blue for whatever if it makes you feel better. I don't know. I also think that paints are acrylic, so they should be fine in the epoxy pour. Is it like a suspended glitter in there? had a buddy in high school whose name was Micah. And I used to think that the type of rock, the Formica, was something that was literally like for him. That's his rock, man. It's Formica. That's what they said. They told me it was Formica, and that's who owns this rock is Formica. It's Micah. Micah owns it. Micah was a good guy. I wonder what happened to him all the time. He was about as classic an open schooler as you could ever imagine. He was laid back, he was relaxed, he was interesting and fascinating, and sadly, I think he was also into drugs. And so I always wonder, because I've never heard anybody talk about him again after high school. I wonder how we. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty. I So I intentionally kind of did this so that it'd be red, white, and blue, right? But now looking at all three covers next to each other, it would be really nice if this was uniform, but you can see what I'm talking about whenever I said we've got a problem with standardization of the covers. This cover is actually, the red cover is thinner. It's thinner, and all of the writing is smaller, and there's a gap between the black band and this. The you know what I mean? Like, it's just not quite right. It's not like it's wrong, but it does need to be just straightened up. It's not in the right venue. It's not set up properly. So that's why we've got to go through and work on things and fix stuff, and it's a thing. So we'll get there. I like the tech manual, which is now we call it the world building document. We've got to remember that because I keep calling it the tech manual too. But I like the world building document, which I'm going to make more of. Anytime we have, I'll do like an extra or a special or something like that on different places, since I'm going to extend so much of this story. Like there's a Weirn front. There's a front where the Unity has been fighting back the Weirn. And to some degree, the Commonwealth is helping them fight back the Weirn. It's a long way away, though. And so it's not like it happens anywhere near Earth anymore. But that's a couple of our characters in our book are veterans of that war. And they're like Gunny Betterspec. He was in that war. He was on that front line. And also our Marine, Arbo, Lieutenant Arbo, Major Arbo. Except I think Major outranks Lieutenant Commander. So let's not have him be a Major. We've got something. He's Lieutenant. He's Lieutenant Arbo. I've forgotten. He's got a character sheet somewhere. So we'll, and who knows? I mean, maybe I'll do one-offs like this that are for every character. So you'll have like deep dives into, Betterspec, or deep dives into how the Shakrana live, and stuff like that. That would be kind of a fun side book. So I'm going to continue with this guy's style too. So like with this little, you'll be able to tell they're different because they've got this outer ring and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of maneuvering and stuff like that to make it work. And then there will always be Omake, because I'll always have side stories. I keep thinking of all these times where Mayrel is talking to Alex, and Alex is like, you do what? What do you, wait, how did you manage to change all these things in 500 years? And like, that's all not part of the real plot, but it is part of the story. And it is part of what I want to explore in this story. And then, of course, we'll have the actual issues, the actual stories themselves. So, kind of looking at this going, that's what we need to do. So these are the 3 different designs that we will use from now on. And what I really need to do is, now that I've done this, I need to set up how these are done. And I need to put in this extra part on the background of that. I'm trying to see if I think George has gone insane again. George, are you insane? I'm over here, George. George. There you go. I'm right here. You don't have to be lost in the house. He's a loud cat. Wonder if I can find you some. So, how complicated do you want to get, Brent? It's a trash truck. Are you out there still, Brent, or are you working? Okay, jump in a meeting. I'll talk to you in a minute. Meh. Yeah, that's what I thought. So close right here. Mm-mm-mm. so close, in fact, I think I'm just going to move the entire thing to the left. So that it's gapped out properly. And then bring this back. All right. And what we're doing here is I'm just making a template for covers, right? So that from now on, all of my covers will be uniform in that they will all have the title will be in the correct place. All of my banner pieces will be in the correct place. And all will be exactly where it needs to go. Right? And from now on, all of them will be the same. And that's the whole point here. And the light blue indicates, that's what we call non-photo blue. And it's something that it's archaic now. In modern production, we don't need to worry about non-photo blue anymore. A non-photo blue is a shade of blue that does not photocopy. That's what they're saying. So you can't, if you had things written in non-photo blue and you stuck it on a photocopier, and we're talking about old photocopiers, not scanner printers photocopiers, but the old photocopiers would not see this shade of blue. And so you could then take a pencil with this lead in it and do the underdrawing of your character on there, and then go back over with a black pen and ink it. And all you'd get when you photocopied it was the black pen. All of the underdrawing would go away. So we use the specific shade of blue to indicate this isn't part of the final. You can't use this as part of the final sort of thing. That's what we're kind of doing here. And saying this non-photo blue, this is not part of the final product. And what it's saying to me is, when I do new covers for new issues of the comic, I'll paste up all of my cover stuff and then line it up properly. And when I do, then I can hit in the right place so that it matches all the other covers all over the place. But this will be hidden at some point in time because, of course, in modern stuff, all I do is this, right? I just turn off the layer and it's gone. So I can bring it back or I can turn it off. As soon as I turn off the layer, it's gone. So I'll turn off this layer before sending it to the printer. The printer won't print it. But that's the point behind non-photo blue and the idea behind it. So what you're seeing here is me putting down non-photo blue on things. I'm actually going to wipe that out up here because this belongs to the main pages. I'll leave that. Pull that out because this is the revision number right down here, so that I know when I did it. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be like, what? When did I do this thing? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. The other thing I'm going to do while in here is I'm going to cut grooves into my lines here. This, it won't be touching this, and therefore then I won't end up moving this line. In case I ever want to use this non-photo blue section down here as my template for the ring that goes around the outside of the, so it should not touch any other artwork, right? So we're going to go up to the side here. I'm going to go down there and correct something, but we shouldn't have any touching there, and we need to cut it here so it's not touching this line right there. And you're like, what did you do that for? And I was like, well, that way I now can take this and do this, right? Why is it like, oh, because I'm on the wrong darned layer. You need to be flattened out. And I can do this, right? And all it selects is that. It won't select the lines that are in between it. Oh, I like that idea too. Yeah, that would be good. I could have an epoxy cover. That would be cool. That would be way cool. Because what he's kind of implying here is that things like we could make the cover and then all of this on a different cell layer. So all of this is one layer up. So I met with, and he can't hear it. Dang it. I met with a printing company. Well, it was at Iacon called Tribal Printing, and they had all of these cool things, which one of them was they gave me a packet, and I can't find it. I was hoping to find it, but now I can't find it. So it's somewhere. They gave me a packet of paper. So it was like all their different papers that they could print on. And one of the things that they could print on was acrylic. So they could paint on acrylic effectively transparency, right? The idea being that it was transparency. And they were able, she said she was able to print foil on there. So she could print, she doesn't print foil. What they do is they print in black, and then they lay a foil over the black that is that sticks to only black toner. And then they just tear the foil off, and everything except for the black toner is torn away, but then the black toner, of course, all stays. So you can make all of these. So you could theoretically run an acrylic sheet with black or with gold foil or silver foil. And that's something that would be really cool to try at some point in time. I always want to try all these weird special things, right? You know, can we do that? It's part of the thing that I do where I think totally outside the box. Okay, we're gonna go fix a couple of weird lines. Okay, we're gonna go fix a few weird lines, but it needs to actually work. Somewhere we move up a pixel. I saw that. Since this is the final version of everything, I'm going to fix that up a pixel piece. There. Ooh, it gets to more than up a pixel by the time it gets down here, doesn't it? Oof. There we go. That's much cleaner, much better. Looks perfect. Good. 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 Hey. If you're wondering why I'm not updating, man, why we're not updating, say, the date right here where it says revision from 6/14, since obviously today is 6/16. Why am I not updating that revision? And it's because really all I need to remember is which OCD obnoxiousness session did this all happen. Because what'll happen is the way I operate is very compartmentalized. I will obsess over getting all of this straightened out so it's never messed up ever again. And then I will obsess over it, and then I will switch to something else, and I'll be on something else for months and months and months. And then I'll switch back here because something happened, something went wrong, something didn't do what it was supposed to do, like the omakes who printed weird. Right? This was totally fine. I was not going to need to mess with this ever again. And then the omakes printed very strangely. And Bob had to call me and say, I have your comic on the press, but it's not working right. What do you want me to do? Which is horrifying because he should never have to do that. So that's something that happens. So really, I don't need to know whether this was done on the 16th or on the 14th or on the 13th. It doesn't really matter. As long as I remember that it was this batch, because I have all the doors open, I have all the boxes open right now, and I'm in every box. I've got my hands in all the boxes. I can track that until we move to something else. Then I have to make sure I close all the boxes and put them away. Or more often, what really happens is I just leave them as they are, which is why I'm trying to close the boxes now. This is one of the reasons why when I start something and then Brent's like, okay, your time's up. You can't do this anymore. I'm like, you have to wait because I have to close all the boxes, which may still take me a day, depending on how big the problem is. So I actually really want to pick. Okay, are you still out there, Patsy, or did I lose you? If I lost you, that's okay. I hope you're resting. If you're still out there, as a mom, I'm asking a question. I've rated my own comics as 13 plus, so no one under the age of 13 as a guideline, of course. You can Show it to your 8-year-old if you really feel like that, but that's your business, not mine. But my comics have nudity in them, but not sexual nudity. There's no sex, just nudity. And my question is, as a mom, does 13 plus seem appropriate? And so, as to me, that seems fine. But, I am not everybody. And so I'm polling now. Same would go to Brent, but Brent's in a meeting and can't hear me. So, alrighty. All right, we fixed that problem. Now we use this. Yes. I'm just double checking to make sure it's printing or the proportions of this are correct. Well, that was part of the problem was where were the proportions on here? Were they screwed up? Were they messed up? What was the status? Okay, so looking at that, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to change the template, created material. I'm going to change it to my master template that I just made, right? And fire that off, right? And then we're going to kill layer 1. We're going to flatten this guy down. We're going to double check before I save this that its canvas size is 174.63 by 265.10 at 600 dpi, 174.63 millimeters by 265.10 millimeters. And finally, I think it is correct all the way across the board. So we will save this as in here in the administration folder. I'm saving both the master cover page and we're going to say this is the body page. Okay. So now we've saved a master cover page and a body cover page as a JPEG. So from this point forward, I can just load that JPEG. And if I'm ever confused or I'm worried or I don't think it's correct for some reason, I can always load those files back up and then do them and be fine. It'll be okay. So now I've confirmed my settings. My settings are correct. See you in a minute. And everything is straight on these so that they're clear. The one thing now I need to do is a back so that all my backs are correct. Right? So if we look at all of these, not here, but go out. Oh, that's too far. Right, we go into Act 1. And we're going to set these just like it should be for this one here. We're going to set it for its background. Because issue 1 should be the one that's straight. And it isn't. Issue 1 is not the one that's apparently straight. For 0 reasons. Okay, well, damn it. By the way, guys, there are 2 rules that we always must follow on this. Here's the other thing that bothers me. This band goes all the way to the spine, but only on this cover. And I feel like I want that band to go all the way back to the back. So what we're going, because I don't like the way this looks. I want it to go all the way back. All right. And I feel like no matter what, this band is going to be on all of my comics from now on. So I'm going to let it go all the way back. Like that. And maybe when we're talking about this from now on, that band will be even on here. Even when we're doing full versions like this. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll call this one that. And I'll just let that band go out like that. So it's a black band that says ages 13 plus. I really like the idea of it being a black band on that cover to indicate, hey, keep an eye on that. I like that a whole lot better. All right. I'm going to go ahead and the one that's so badly out of shape is the prologue. This is the one that's so badly out of shape. All right. First things first, let's bring up our main on this. And I should just stop closing this. I'm just worried somebody will join and I won't hear it. So I'm trying to kind of keep this up here. Right. And by the way, if you're wondering, this is that layout setup that I had done before, where I had set up the layout so that it'd be perfect every time. And it's telling me my width, it's telling me my height, my resolution, all of these numbers here, all of the inner borders, outer borders, things like that, are the things we want to make sure that it knows. It knows how to say, it knows where it goes, and knows what needs to be said, and, and all of that thing. So we're going to now check. We're going to go to edit. Why can't we change the canvas? This is under story. Change the project settings. Let's change the page settings first to see. Oh my goodness, they're not even right. They're nowhere near right. This is part of the reason why this entire comic is screwed up. They're off by a lot. And they're off center. That's what he was saying. Bob was saying they're all at the top. And he said all of them were at the top and they were all really small. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to roll this way?" And I'm like, no, I'm not sure at all. And now we're looking at the project settings, and we look at what the project settings should read: 127 versus 174, 203 versus 265 at 600 DPI. 115 on the trim versus 168, 190 versus 238, and the offset is, there's an offset which there isn't here. Number of pages are 24, things like that. We need to fix some stuff. Now, the question really boils down to, do I just go on ahead and crash this and then reset everything? And I think the answer is yes, because part of the reason this is happening is because of that. So let's start talking about this. First of all, let's get rid of this offset. That doesn't need to happen anymore. And then, because this is at manga scale, that's part of the problem. This is totally manga scale. 17463 by 265 0. And the inner pieces should be 168.23. And the height should be 238 7. Now you've messed all that up because you're just being so nice to me. And this should be 138.91 and 208.4 and 0. Here in Texas again, 174.63 and 265. And then we look at go fix, and everything's going to fix out. Okay, the trims. Oh, what did you change on the trim, you goofy program? Okay. Now it's got to think because it's going to change everything. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be like, cool, dude. Nice idea you had there, huh? The project settings that I need changing. 74.63 means all that's set. Okay. Why didn't you change everything? I'm pretty sure you're still not set, right? Right. I'm going to change the page settings here. Yeah, see, you're not right. And I was just telling you about it. You're not doing this right. Why aren't you doing this right? I want the entire project to change. Yeah. The inner border is 1, 8, 5, 1. I'm just going to say, future guy, if you are here trying to get all these numbers, because you can't figure out what the numbers were, just saying. Now let's see what it does. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's a massive size difference. No wonder he was having a problem. Take the cover page. Need this cover page. We don't need another cover page. We don't need to know. Okay, I'm just having fun. We're here. We do need another template. We do. Okay. And this is why you don't let me do this stuff. All right, move it over. This should be fitting. It is. Did it change at the last minute the size of the page for me because it likes to do stuff like that? Let's see. Now it's no height should be 265 0. People. There we go. And since this is a double wide, it should be 2 times the width of what? Jeez, it's like taking. It's like having a 5-year-old sometimes. All right, we need to do this right. 174.63 times 2 equals 349.26. Let's leave it on the same thing here. You're like 3, 4, 9, 6. There we go. This is, by the way, what you just observed is exactly why this goes astray. Clip Studio calculates the borders, the print borders, versus what's going on. So when I change the number of the size of the page, it adjusts the trim, and then when I change the trim, it'll adjust the page. So I kind of have to adjust the page, adjust the trim, then readjust the page, then readjust the trim with all of these, because you've got to correct for the fact that it's trying to help you by adjusting the page size every time you adjust pieces of the trim inside. And of course, that's what it's doing here, is going on its own little happy jaunt. It's like, don't really need your help on this, but thank you. Thank you so much for, helping. No. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these pieces parts and try to get them corrected in the right way so that they're set up in the same way, in the same manner, right? Like here is this header. We're going to need to increase its size until it fits properly. No, do not do that. This thing. Also noticing that this is not the correct font. Nor is it the correct setup. So we're going to move this over to Arial Black. We're going to call it Omake 1. Like that. And this one was April 2023. Okay. So as far as these comics go, this is a 10 point. Should be like that. Right. And this is also in the wrong font. So I use the font. I use two fonts. I either use straight old Arial bold, and I never mess with it, or I use Airborne Arial Black. Right, and either this must be 17 point down one. I either use, there we go, got it lined up there. Good old fashioned let's just make this black stripe the way it's supposed to be here. I'll either use Arial, just normal Arial, because Arial's the easiest one to read. Everybody's used to it. And there's a lot of mimickers out there that use Arial. So if I were to have to, for some reason, be forced to purchase that font so that I could do this, then it would be easy to get something that's close to Arial and nobody would notice functionally. And so this is 12. Really should be lined up with the box. So the thought processes here is raise this back up to its correct size, which is here. All right. And where is the line work? Thank you. That's you. Oh, the good news is the line work is still in vector, which means that I can raise the line work up without ruining the artwork, which is excellent because it needs to be brought up to there. All right. And so does this. This is going to need to be enlarged as well. don't care about the white out behind there, except for one thing. I wanted to make this look artsy fartsy, and instead it just looks weird. So I'm going to go in here with a larger brush and just kind of phase some of this out. Just a little bit like so. Right. There. Now what I've done is I have made the cover in alignment with the actual comics like they're supposed to. It will print the same way, it'll run the same way. Bob won't freak out at the print house because, well, he doesn't freak out. He's so very laid back. He doesn't ever freak out. He just is like, well, are you sure you want that? Because it does look a little bit like it's not supposed to be that way. He's like so laid back. But I was like, I felt so bad because I was like, yeah, I should never have done that. Um, all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit a selection on this right in the middle of this page. Right. I'm going to take off this trim right here. And all I've done is started a selection where the trim is selected inside. So you've got an inside trim selection like so. Right. Now we're going to select this, which is not that one. That's the front. That's the front. That's the back. And what I'm looking for is the stuff that's on the back, right? That's this section here. Because what I'm going to use the new tools that I love so much, these centering tools, right? So I'm going to center that. But instead of centering it to the canvas, I can center it to a selection, and that'll center it there. Okay, so this guy, center here and here. Because I want that in the dead center. And this should be 17, right? The question is whether I'm doing these in airborne or not. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go look. Look at all of my other things that I've got here, right? Oh, it's an airborne. So it should be an airborne. That's fine. We can make that work. 17 point. We're good. See you later, Gatsy. Feel better. Now it's just us. We lost our connection to Patsy there. Urete. Where'd you go? There you go. You're back. I actually don't dislike this small version like this, but maybe it should be like this, like up high, using the Unity logo up high like this. And maybe that's a better choice because this will allow me to write more on the back if I need to, right? So I'll take the Union Saturn, which is what that's called. And then this, just make sure he's tapped to the center like that. I kind of like that. That looks nice. It looks clean. It looks like it's a solid thing. I like it. Then what you do to make sure your graphic arts are correct is you take this, take right here, right? And you make a box for this guy like this. And then you take the text, and we center that, right? Now it looks nice all the way around. Right? The thing is that I'm working over here on this guy, and I really shouldn't be, but I am, and that's probably not the wisest move I've ever made in my life. But you know. So here we are. We're going to just make a new layer right here. And I'm actually probably put it on top of this red. And I'm just going to go on ahead and start putting in the things that need to be put in, right, for this. So I'll go over here. And what I'll do is I'll select everything that isn't the Saturn, and I'll do this. Then I'll just go in and hit that, right? And all I'm doing here is just giving a guide, for the backs of the comics from now on. Right. Right. Is this a I want scritches? This is a I want scritches, isn't it? Have to have your morning scritches. What would you do without your morning scritches, cat? What would you do without your morning scritches? You wouldn't have morning scritches, would you? Who needs scritches? You live on scritches. Morning scritches for George. Morning scritches. Morning scritches. What are you deciding to do? You don't know. There you go. All right. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up to this layer here and do this. I'm going to make sure we've selected or unselected apply to connecting pixels. because what I want to do is do the inverse of that, right? So Control Shift I inverts down here, and we'll do the same thing. Make sure that the apply to connected pixels is unselected, and then we'll click there. Okay. What we've done now is selected this zone. This entire piece here is now one unit. So if I were to turn off all of the other pieces here, like that, what you'd see is effectively a blue line blackout of what we want on the back of the page. So this is going to be the future version of it on every comic. This is going to be my master page for the back of a comic. Right. The other thing we should check, and by the way, I do this quite often, this checking the comic thing to make sure the comic is correct. Like I've got a direct edition. This is an Amazing Spider-Man, right? Bought it for a whole $1. This is Marvel 552. And it's a direct edition Amazing Spider-Man. And I'm going to look at all of its setups, right? On the back, they put a big ad. I'm not doing that. I've got better things to do with my life. Right. Here's the in page right here. We've got all of the information on who wrote it, who penciled it. All of those things go right here. I put that on the inside page. Inside the cover, they're putting as many advertisements as they can in here. They're trying to shove as many ads as they possibly can. Right. And this talks about the New York Comic Con in April of 2008. So I can tell how old this comic is. But I don't see it. Where's the date? Doesn't really have a date. I don't know what rated A means. All right. Okay. Well, I don't think it's really. I mean, I think it's. Oh, hey, welcome back from the meeting. In the time that you were in your meeting, I learned what's wrong with the omake. It was done in manga scale and sent to the printer that way. Not done in US comic book scale. So the entire comic is off. Irritatingly off. So, there's that. So one of the things I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this entire thing right here. I'm going to, and then I went and got an Amazing Spider-Man. To figure out what it was doing, or what's the story? What's the haps, right? I fixed the cover pages of this, but I have not fixed anything else yet. Right, so we're going to then make a new illustration image at the right scale. Yep, yep. All of it's correct. Bring that up. And then we're going to say paste. And that'll paste in this, which I can then kill this. There we go. And then I can get this off of here, which I don't need. I don't need here. And kill it there. Well, it's because we need that. There we go. Then this guy can be saved. Just save him. Save. Yeah, I do like the idea of the covers in epoxy. That's kind of cool. I think it'd be even cooler if we brought up like different layers where like all the titles and stuff like that were closer. That'd be kind of nifty too. So we'll drop this down because we need these guides at the top and the bottom. Starting to get worried about this again because now these don't line up, but they really should. Right. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to take this, and this is my text box. There. So I do like your ideas of the epoxy covers. That would be really nifty. So here's a question I have for you, friends. Oh, there you go. There you go. If we make these, then do you want to sell them on my table? Like, you can fix a price and no. I like things that have lights in them. I always have. Yay, neurodivergence for the win. Um wonder if after I'm gone, people would be like, he struggled with his brain for his entire life. Like my brain never friends. So how'd you still end up on the wrong layer? Are you select? No, you're not selecting something weird. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm okay with that. Both are acceptable. Next week I have one random class on a Wednesday. But other than that, my Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday are open for normal. Well, I'll be on normal operating day shows. So we can set that up. We can start setting stuff like that up next week if you'd like. I feel like things are moving, so maybe I ought to check and make sure it's all correct. So let's first check the page settings, because if the page settings are off, 174.63 by 265.10. Okay. The page settings are correct. So what we'll do is we will save as. And this goes back into the administration folder as the cover, back cover master. And now what I'll do is I'll register it as a template as well. Registering this as a template then allows me to put this as part of my ongoing template files, right? So we say D23.6 back cover. Okay. And then back covers look like this. Front covers have a template. The back covers have a template. That's fine. Yeah, these are 9 inches. Although you did use the foot marker, so that's 9 feet by 11.5 feet. I'm just saying. And really, I'm just being pedantic. Here's my. That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, life size. Life size. There you go. A life size standee of better spec would still only be like down here. It's only be like 3 feet tall, 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall. Poor Gunny. being such a little dude, little grumpy dude, little grumpy chip, tortilla chip, grumpy tortilla chip. I don't do well with this. Making sure I follow every step. It's not my forte. I'm really not very good at it. I'm going to have to fix this later on, but not today. So we cannot print from that version of this until we fix that problem. And the problem is that the cover now is, and this is just the omake. So, Brent, please help me remember this. The cover has been resized to the correct size, but all of the individual pages have not. So, all the pages are still at the wrong size, and they'll need to be resized. And then we'll need to scale up the artwork, and we'll need to move everything around until it's on every single one of those 24 pages. So we're going to have to do that. And that's going to drive me absolutely crazy, but we'll get there. Right. So. Makes total sense to me. You want to make life-size epoxy things? I'm into this plan. Don't know how the hell we'd make it work, but I'm totally into this plan. All right. That makes actually logical sense. I'm on board with that. Okay, it is 11:02. I have a 12 o'clock meeting that I've got to go to now, and a 1 o'clock meeting that I've got to go to. So the only gap that I actually have in the universe right now is 11 to 12 to eat lunch or eat things or do things in any sort whatsoever. So I am OOH, and I'll see you all later. I'll see you all Sunday night as usual. But like I said, this next week I only work on Wednesdays, so there will be Monday, Tuesday day stream, and there will be a Thursday, Friday day stream. So that's at least a plus. I think that's true for the next 2 weeks. Not 100% sure. But either way, I will see you all later. And as I always say, keep your eyes, my friends, on the stars. Goodbye.